Is your motorcycle's throttle response just a little too throttly, a little too responsive? Does it sometimes get tricky to handle the bike in low speed situations and the power's coming on too quickly and the rear's breaking loose? I mean, I know I don't have that problem. I can handle my bike just fine. I'm just kidding. This thing is like a beast around the corners. Let's be honest. These modern 450, 500, 300 two-strokes, they got some power. It's not that the overall power is a problem. The problem can sometimes be the actual throttle response, how a little input, especially down low, can make a big input at the rear wheel. Sometimes a little more than you want. When you're out in the dirt, it's easy to break the tire loose to get it spinning. And then Supermoto, the real tight first gear turns with this bike can be sort of tricky. But before we go any further, let me tell you about Extra. These guys are the future of wallets and they are today's sponsor. Super, super cool. Made from recycled aluminum, incredibly thin, minimalist style. Can hold up to 7 cards in this mechanism, or you can go old school with this beautiful Italian leather. So I have a money clip here if you want, as well as a few other compartments on it that let you hold perhaps some other things in there. Both of these wallets though come in a couple of different cool colors here. You can customize and get what you want. A little card trigger here though will give you that fast, effortless access to your card. Built to last, high quality components, not a bunch of plastic bits that are gonna wear out over time. And these wallets can evolve with you. They've got a number of add-ons like money clips and trackers. Check out this super thin tracker. I've got it in this wallet right now. I was able to add it to my iPhone super easy on the Find My app. This is my exact location, so I'm gonna have to blur that. Also, let's just say it's just annoyingly loose in my house. Check this out with a push of a button on my phone here. I think once a week, my kids have to go on a hunt for my wallet, so that would be nice not having to do that. Go to esther.com/thegardensnake. Use my code. Links are in the description. Up to 40% off. What a deal. I'm just gonna keep doing this because it's fun. Thank you, Esther, for being a sponsor of this video. Y'all wanna see my new dog? Look at Rudy. This has nothing to do with the ad. Look at the camera. Say hi. That leather smells good, don't it? He's your good boy. He's still a puppy. I don't know how big he's gonna get. He's kind of a mutt.
The throttle response when we're up at bigger speeds like this on this bike doesn't really bother me. It's the low, tight stuff like this where the throttle response can almost become a bit abrupt. A little trickier to find the finesse to apply the throttle. And you gotta reapply the throttle. It's that initial reconnect. It's just a bit abrupt on this bike. Now, some of you know that this bike has a lower power setting, one that can actually be flipped on the fly. Woo! This has nothing to do with it. I just wanted to do a wheelie. This is the Enduro map, and it's supposed to take a lot of the bite out of it. And I've even been told that at full throttle, full RPM, it still makes the same power as the other map. It's just a more progressive map to get there. Two problems I have. One, I don't think it's still quite enough. It's still kind of bitey in this setting right here. Still tends to jerky a little bit. But the biggest thing is, when you roll into it, especially down like the straightaway, I'm not gonna have all the power that I want. Point, aim straight, get on it. It's still good, but it's just not quite there. Yeah, I'm bouncing rev limiter because it's just coming so much quicker. This thing doesn't pull quite as hard as it does when it's in this mode right here. I'm not going to ride around the track and flip between these two on the go. Like, oh, time to be in the high power mode because I'm down the straightaway. Or I'm in the tighter part of the track, let's flip it back down. Or if I go in the dirt section.
We don't want to just reduce the power or make the throttle throw longer. The real problem, in my opinion, comes to the fact that 25% throttle here doesn't actually equal that sort of power at the rear wheel. So to demonstrate this, I've made a graph. We've got throttle and power, 0% to 100 on throttle, and 0 to, I say, 50 horsepower. The bike probably makes around that. In the perfect world, 100% throttle would give you 100% power. Most likely it actually does. 25 horse, 75 give you 37.5, and 25 would give you 12.5. You end up with this really cool straight line. You would twist the throttle and you would get exactly that. However, that's not actually what happens. In reality, it looks something more like this. 25% horsepower. You'll probably have something that looks more like that. Some even going like this. Remember, this is not like dyno horsepower. We're simplifying here. The first few percent of throttle do a lot more than the last few percent of throttle. It means that our ability to control the power is harder than it should be. So how could we change that? How could we get it where it's more uniform? Let's say, for instance, if you're at 25% throttle opening, you want 25% power, which is about half of that. 12.5% throttle actually equals 12.5% horsepower in this scenario. 50% throttle going way up here, but we want it to be at 25. It actually intersects over here at the quarter mark. So in other words, if I could turn the throttle with my hand at 50%, actually only opened it up to a quarter, that would work. 75, we'd actually want it to come way down here And then 100 is 100. To make it more correct, you'd actually want to turn the throttle blade real slow in the beginning related to your hand, and then quickly at the end, which seems totally bizarre, but that would actually give us a much more realistic throttle response. Now, a lot of newer fly-by-wire bikes can do some of this on their own. That's where you're going to see some power settings and response settings.
We have to mellow this out. We have to make it a more one-to-one with the power the bike makes versus what your hand's doing.
But since we have a simple cable-driven throttle, we can't remap it. How can we change that? That's exactly what this is meant to do. This is from G2 Ergonomics, and what's so cool about this is it can change the throttle opening percentages. Now, G2, I reached out to them, told them I was interested in putting this on the bike, and they were kind enough to set me up with this, so just letting you know that up front. No paid exchange or anything. I knew I wanted this because I've actually had one of these on my XR650R. First of all, I mean, we're getting a aluminum tube. There's plastic inserts in this, so we won't be metal on metal. But the way this cable pull works is a little different. There's a small drum in here. It's gonna roll the cable a little nicer, make it a little more smooth. In the case of the Sherco, it gives us a couple other switches that we're gonna need because those are built into our stock throttle housing, so we can keep using our map switch and our starter. But what's so cool about this, the thing that makes this ultra neat, let me show you. We're getting cams in here that can be swapped around. This is the 690, it's got it printed on there. These are different cam profiles. Maybe you don't care about the whole throttle response. Maybe you want faster. Maybe you're just cracking wheelies all day. Although, same time, I think you actually would want a smoother throttle control. But you know, this is a quick turn, or we can pop this back off. They do get firm when they get on there, but that's good. This one is the 700. This is the one I'm after. This is the Tamer. There's like a big old list of these, and they make these for just about every kind of bike out there on the market. It's gonna change the pull ratio. It's gonna change how the power's delivered. And it doesn't make the throttle throw crazy long or anything either. That would be a way to do it. That's like the caveman way. They carry the domino grips, and we got some real bright ones we're gonna be throwing on there because, hey, this is a fun time. You get to kind of customize a little bit, so why not? So in order to put this on, we actually have to pull our fuel tank. I love how easy that is to take off on this bike. So to remove our throttle assembly, we have a cable coming off of it. That's for our switches. 2 Allens here on the back side.
And we have to pop our throttle off like that.
So let's see where the throttle cable goes, the routing, and what we need to do to remove it. Looks like it comes down, and it goes between the radiator, and this must be the ECU right here. Continues down right into our throttle body. We've got a cover right there. I'm gonna pull this motor mount off. I'm using my phone camera to get back under there. Oh, there's just a tab right here. I just didn't, I should have done this to begin with. I don't think I needed to remove that motor mount. There it goes. 10 mil and an 8 mil nut. There we go, we got it out. And then what we want to do is kind of follow this around and unhook it. Now with that unhooked, we can fish it out from right here. This is the snug spot. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to work the cable through there, so I might undo the ECU real fast. Trying to be careful how close I am to the radiator fins. Very easy to hit them. Old throttle cable out. Before we put our new cable on, let's do a little extra credit here, and we're gonna lubricate this right now off the bike. This is just a simple cable lube. Buy these, they even come with a little cable luber. You will need this, snug it down both ends. And this bottle is extremely empty, actually. I hope there's enough to do this. Please remind me in the comments to buy a new bottle of cable lube. That goes in there, and then pretty slick in here. You know what, another good thing to check those real quick, and make sure this is as long as the other one is. They are, they're the exact same length. Once you get it in there, you have to then kind of push the cable around, kind of up forward. There it goes, it grabbed its groove there. You see, this goes like that. That will be hooked in here. The way this works is that nut gets hooked down here in the bottom. You can turn this whole thing sort of back and forth to set it. I'm not gonna tighten it up all the way yet. We'll get the other side on and we'll see if we need to do any final adjustments on it. One of the other checks here I wanna do is I've got the throttle cable, I wanna pull it. I can hear it bottoming out, and that's really good. It's here hitting full rip. We're not having some kind of weird mechanical issue going on here. So that's cool. Now, as far as the routing goes for this, it just kind of sits over top like this. It goes right into our throttle housing. Doesn't kind of wrap up under the bars or anything fancy like that. Sherco just leaves it sitting out here like this. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, by the way, I guess you didn't notice this. The bars did change. This is also a couple part video being filmed multiple parts at the same time. So yes, new set of bars here. And you'll notice that our entire brake assembly is off. The brake assembly I'm not going to put back on until we have our throttle tube and everything installed. That's why it looks the way it does. And now I can start putting on the throttle tube. I'm gonna unscrew the top part here because we need to add a little wheel. For now, I'm just gonna set that aside. We're gonna work with just this piece. You can spin this, or you can kind of spin the whole thing, doesn't really matter. Not sure where we need it at to start. We'll just kind of stick it roughly like that. We're gonna try to give ourselves a lot of slack. I'm gonna take this cable, I'm just gonna feed it through the bottom, take my throttle tube and stick it on here. If you don't wanna run that cap, you're gonna run hand guards, it just comes right off. Fish it into my throttle housing. Gonna spin that around, and if you're gonna run bar ends or hand guards, it's actually the other way. We need to make sure it's slightly in where you can see a piece of this metal sticking out. And the reason why is when we have a hand guard on there or a bar end, if it does fall on this, if this is sticking out further than the bar, it'll jam on the throttle wherever it was set at. It can also break this, but with it slightly inset, this can be compressed in, the bar end, the hand guard, whatever, can smash in and all the force goes into this and doesn't pin our throttle. I need to put in that little plastic wheel. I've put a slight, I know it just looks dirty, I put a slight amount of grease on it. It's kind of a wedding cake flipped upside down. There's some grooves it rides in. And so that grease is just to kind of help make it so it slips a little better. But you need to get that cable to go up and around the outside. I'll kind of demonstrate here. We'll put this screw in just a few turns, and yeah, and this thing actually turns. And that's probably hard to tell on camera because it's just one solid color, but this thing kind of turns back and forth and moves around there a bit as this moves. And that's the thing too with this, it really smooths out the throttle. By the way, look at that. That is with the Tamer in there. It's not like it's a longer throw. A longer throw would be like the cheap way to make that work. Don't touch the throttle when you got that piece off. Kind of like a light switch cover. Don't crank these down. We got a little bit of slackening. That's what you want. You don't want it to be completely tight because as we turn the bars, we want to make sure that it still has that. We also want to check it now. Not only do we have a little bit of wiggle all the way through, but it doesn't bind up anywhere. And we get a good snap. I'm gonna jam this down. Let's just do this one by hand, these little jammers. Same thing with those clutches. This is hydraulic clutch, but on cable clutches, I don't like it when you have to put a tool on that adjuster. You should be able to do it by hand, but that's good. So we'll put that over it. Before I go sticking these on, I'm gonna get in here with a razor. I'm gonna cut this end out. I need to cut a circle on the end here because we're gonna run hand guards. I'm gonna follow this line right here along the edge here. I'm just gonna start scoring it, going around. I'm not gonna try to force it. Another thing I don't think I've mentioned is that these grips are actually slightly different thicknesses. One of them is gonna feel thinner and one's gonna feel thicker. The thicker one goes on the clutch side. The thinner one goes on the throttle side. Perfect, look at that, look how smooth and clean that is. And some people like to put lube on here and they say that helps it slip on. And a lot of people love to do hairspray. Like I said, I don't like to lube them. Sometimes you can get them on pretty good. They're gonna hit a point where they're gonna get real stiff. That's where some compressed air comes in. Before we're gonna safety wire these on, that literally means we're gonna put safety wire around the bike. It's very sharp, pointy, makes you bleed easy wire. We're gonna wrap this around the grips, twist it down real tight, and then cut it off. That seems really dangerous and stupid, right? I mean, this literally could, if I just did that, it would go right into my skin. It's raining out there if you haven't heard. It's actually not hard to do this in a way where that pokey bit of the wire is very small and pushed into this rubber and it is not a problem. I like this procedure because when it's all said and done, if we want to change our grips out, they're worn out, it's not glue, it's not BS free, it's cut this wire. I'll take a razor, slit this, peel the old one off, and then put the new one on. It's so fast, it's so easy, so I love it. Now, one of the cool things here you get with a lot of MX grips like this one is they actually have some spots, you know, these dirt bike grips, they have a slot right here and here for safety wire. There's even a little nub right here I can see where we can easily tuck our end piece. I wish there was a third one down here. I can always just, you don't have to have a groove. You can just stick it somewhere on there and it'll be fine. I like to have at least 3. These are actually some fancy safety wire pliers, but you can also just do this with a pair of needle nose, whatever. These just make it a little more convenient, but they are not necessary by any means. I'll take care of doing this. On this very channel, I've made myself bleed numerous times from these things. The safety wire pliers let you do you just kind of pull on it and see how it starts doing it for you. But again, I've done this. I've safety wired so many things with just a pair of normal pliers. Don't think you have to have these. They're just a nice thing to have if you do. That's all I need to do right there. It's easy to overdo these. Now we're left with this extremely dangerous little stack here. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna come here with our snips and we're gonna cut this where it's just a couple strands left, 2 or 3 strands of this wire, which is arguably even more dangerous now. I need to kind of bend it. Let's try to start the bend a little bit like this. And take this and push it down. We forced that down in there. With my bare finger, even pushing hard against this, I can't feel that nub. Let's boost some more. Yeah, there we go. Love that. Super grippy. Can't hurt myself on all these little nubs. Love the feel of a new set of grips. Very good. Got my logo in the same spot. Happy with the location of this, so we'll snug this down. One of the things that we still need to mess with is that on our stock housing, we have the start button as well as the mode selector button. And this, of course, is now gone. We're not going to run that. G2 Ergonomics with the Sherco provides these two switch modules. Those should make up for it. One of the super nice things here on the Sherco is how easy it is to get this headlight on and off. Now let's follow this wiring down. So let's plug the new ones in. Same connectors that came on the bike. So that's really cool. We're going to end up with a momentary button. It actually had a picture of a horn on it. It gave you a little sticker with a starter switch. I had my wife add that on there. And then this one's a 1-2 switch. I'm actually not sure which one's which. We'll figure that out when we go ride. It's pretty apparent. Let's check something. That's what you want to see. Got two switches. It's unlikely we'll be able to fit both of them between the grip and the brake. I think the starter, you're going to want it right next to your finger there. So I'm going to just put this one there, and the other one, which I switch less often, I'll stick on the other side of the brake.
I've got the G2 throttle on here, and we're going to see how it reacts. First of all, I'm in the high power mode, and just generally riding around, I don't notice anything immediately noticeable. I think because when you actually like dig into the throttle hard, it's still the same, right? It's basically that part of it's still the same. I guess it's the early onset of the throttle. It's a little smoother, but we're going to see here, we're going to go to the same spot we were at before. Get me demonetized here.
I could do it myself, so...
What y'all up to, man? All right, Jake, man, how y'all doing? Ah, it really is smoother. It's working. It's funny, I've already just like adapted to it. Like, I think I kind of noticed a little bit initially. The G2 Ergonomics throttle with the Throttle Tamer just makes it more precise. And I'm loving it, and this is also the first time I've gotten the bike out since doing a number of mods to it now. You can see it looks good. We got a skid plate on there, our crash protection. This was already on, but you know, we're kitted out. We're good to go. We do have a few more things coming up. We're going to be putting like a seat on here. Actually, by the time you're seeing this video, some of this other stuff we haven't even done videos for, I don't think. It's a little confusing. I'm trying to get this thing all set up so we can go back to the track. Look at that. Got that thing right leaned over. Look at that. Woo! What about the front? The front's the real telltale. The front really shows if you're a squid or not. Pretty good. Pretty darn good there. All right, guys. If I keep talking here, Badfish has to stay over there by the trash can, so I feel like I should just keep on going on here. Okay, so he's coming out. All right, guys. Y'all take care. See you next time.